love letter to Jack Benny will return in a moment.
Back in 1931, Jack came on an Ed Sullivan radio show with this opening line. Hello, folks, this is Jack Benny. There'll be a short pause while everyone says, who cares? Well, somebody must have cared because in a few weeks, Jack had his own show. And before long, 30 million of us were switching on sets like this one every Sunday to hear...
Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking.
There were some pretty big radio hits in those days. Modesty prevents me from mentioning one. But Jack was...
We were all in the top 10. We had to be. There were only 8 shows.
And that's counting Phil Spitoni. But Jack became a national habit with dialogue like this.
I envy you that trip to Honolulu. Are you going to stay there all summer?
I'd like to, Don, but I have to be back by the end of July to start my new picture.
Oh, that's right. That's the one you're going to make with Fred Allen, isn't it?
That's what Paramount thought, but I straightened that out. In the first place, how would they ever photograph that face of his?
What's the matter with his face?
I could talk for an hour on that. Why, do you know, Don, when we were in New York last month, the bags under Allen's eyes looked at Phil Harris's and said, my son, my son.
Jack, who's going to be your leading lady?
Only lovely, beautiful Mary Martin, that's all.
Mary Martin? Oh, isn't that the girl that used to sing My Heart Belongs to Daddy?
Yep, that's her.
Is she going to sing it in your picture?
I don't know. It's a kind of an old song.
Well, you're an old daddy. Revive it.
Oh, quiet. Have you ever been to Honolulu, Phil?
No, but I sure wish I could go. Oh, boy, how I'd like to sit on the beach in the moonlight with a couple of those cute little papayas in my arms.
Cute little what?
Papayas, you know, girls, dames.
Papayas?
Sure. Don't you speak Honoluluan?
From the start, Jack had that unique format that kept him at the top or near the top of every radio poll for 20 years.
And what a cast. Mary Livingston, Don Wilson, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester. Who else had that kind of talent on the show?
And that was Jack's first team. How about all those other great characters like Mr. Kitzel and that racetrack tout?
And of course, the old guy guarding Jack's vault from the year 1.
Oh, who goes there? Friend or foe?
Friend.
What's the password?
Old soldiers never die.
Oh, it's you, General Benny.
And those two wacky telephone operators, Gertrude Gishift and Mabel Flapsaddle.
Oh, what is it, Guy Chick?
Mr. Benny's loin is flashing.
Yeah, I wonder what the brave bull wants now.
And we can't forget the train announcer.
Train now leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
That, of course, was Mel Blanc, who also played Jack's French violin teacher, his parrot, and everything else from that lousy car motor to an English horse. In 1950, Jack went into television, and he had mixed feelings about it.
There were some big advantages to radio. Rehearsals were at a minimum. There were no retakes. You could wear the same suit year after year. What a great medium. Let's see, I was in radio 18 years. I had 3 sponsors and 4 suits. No, I had 4 sponsors and 3 suits. But I must admit, I really was worried when I first went into television. I'll tell you why. You see, in radio, the listening audiences created their own pictures. But on television, now let's take my vault. You see, that looked different. My living room wasn't what they expected. I didn't really look cheap. the only true picture was Phil Harris. Who else would lead an orchestra lying face down?
On television, Jack had to lean more on himself and his guests, and the old gang appeared less frequently. But they did show up from time to time, like in this scene at the airport.
Listen, I want you to check these bags and make sure they're not overweight.
Overweight?
Yes, you see, you have to be very careful, because when they're overweight, they charge you extra. You know, like 88 cents a pound to Mexico City, that's where we're going, and 64 cents a pound to Acapulco, and 52 cents a pound to Tijuana.
I've got an idea.
What?
You go to Mexico City and send your clothes to Tijuana.
This was a Rochester who had recovered from a stroke, but never did regain that great delivery of his. Jack knew it, but he never let Rochester know that he knew it. He continued using him whenever he could. There were other familiar faces at the airport.
Peggy! Peggy, here I am! Over here! Peggy! Hey!
Dennis Day.
Oh, hi.
Hi, my goodness, is this a surprise meeting you here?
Yeah, what a small world, huh?
Gee, Dennis, it's so good to see you. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about you these past few years. I've missed you. I really have.
Hey, Peggy, hey, look who's here. It's... what was that name again?
What is that name again? Dennis.
Hey, what a coincidence. That's my name, too.
Dennis, now stop with that silly talk again. You know my name is Benny, Jack Benny.
Oh, yeah. You see, Peggy, I told you he doesn't look any better in person.
And you know there had to be this character.
Oh, Mister.
Yeah.
Are you the ticket clerk?
No, I'm a 747 with a mustache.
Now stop with that, will you, please? I remember you. Listen, I want my ticket validated. Here.
Well, Mexico City. What are we running away from this time?
I'm not running away from anything. Just validate my ticket.
There.
Thanks. Hey, wait a minute. I gave you a round-trip ticket. You didn't give me the return here.
Well, you can't blame me for trying.
Frank Nelson, what a riot. And good old Donzie. For a big occasion, who else but Don Wilson to give Jack a proper introduction?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Don Wilson, and I'd like to say what a great personal thrill it is for me to have the honor of introducing the star of our show tonight on his 20th television anniversary. Now, as most of you know, I had the privilege of working with Jack since 1934, first in radio and then on television until he concluded his weekly series. Since then, of course, Jack has kept busy with specials, concerts, nightclubs, and personal appearances. And you want to know something? Not once did I ever hear from him.
Stop!
But Jack's just doing great, and really, I'm very, very happy for him. But what about me? Sitting out there in Palm Springs waiting for the phone to ring. For all he knows, I could be starving.